Hi again, folks. So, I kind of subscribe to the idea that I'm probably just going to remain being an art channel for the future. That being said, myself and my roommate, Cryptic Dream, have been watching a lot of this show that's been coming out recently called To Be Hero. So, I figured I'd try my hand at something that's kind of a mixed media art piece. That being said, it kind of led to whatever the hell I drew today. So, let's get to it. All right. Yeah. So, like I mentioned in the intro, I have been watching a lot of the anime To Be Hero lately, and I kind of really like the flash cuts that they have between the 2D styled digital animation and the 3D animation, like the character models that they have. I know it's not exactly the first thing to go ahead and do it, but it's definitely one of the few properties that's not only done it well, but well in a way where it's unapologetic. I guess it's probably the best way for me to put it. And because of that, it ends up coming off really, really nicely. Because you're not sitting here thinking, oh, hey, is that a 3D model that they're trying to force to be 2D? And vice versa. I went in thinking, hey, maybe they're just gonna have like a little bit here and there, but just how thematically used it is just baffles me. And I know that I use that term like a lot, but there was this whole fight sequence that happened during the show where they were walking up to the lead up for it, and there was like torn away portions of the screen, and the animation just lined up perfectly, and I was I was gushing so hard over it. But that's kind of what led to today's piece. Was I wanted to incorporate some styles that I've been playing around with. As you've seen, like the no outline style that I've been going with, where I've been going and just kind of blocking with a lot of colors. Mixing that in with a certain amount of mirrored symmetry. I really wanted to kind of incorporate some kind of almost horror aspect to everything. God, I say uhs and ums so much, and I don't usually give myself enough time to edit all of them out, so I'm sorry, but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing right about now, is I'm going through and I'm doing kind of like the general what I'm wanting to do between the eye, the nose, the lips, and then the eyebrows. I wanted it to be very symmetrical in like an almost uncanny way. I know that the face shape itself wasn't quite there, and that's to help break up that uncanny a bit, which also becomes very apparent when I add the hair in here in a moment. Also, I wasn't too fond of the color that I'd gone with for the outline originally, for around the eyes and nose. So I do end up changing that up. And I did go with kind of just a little nose dot, something to help break up the brownish grays. Even those cheekbones, they don't quite sit in the most symmetric way, but it's symmetric enough. because I needed to throw off the uncanny just a touch. Here I am just going through trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. This fringe haircut obviously doesn't stay for very long. I end up going with a more blocked out kind of hairstyle here. I mean, still keeping in with dark colors and the kind of alternative vibes with it, but I'm trying to go for multiple highlight layers. So the super dark background for behind the head, the slightly lighter not sideburns, but side strands, and then the more like ashy blonde bangs. Then just going in with some chicken scratch, kind of giving it some kind of definition to help break up the fact that it's literally just a solid block color. And I end up doing the same going into these other two layers as well. Just taking the base color, shifting it a couple of values over. And yeah, that's going to add our hair pieces. Then I believe next what I did was I went through and, yep, colored in the mouth. I wanted it to be a little bit more believable. So it's that kind of darker wine, Cabernet type of red, almost like a harsh hue. And then just block painting in the teeth here for that upper jaw. Nothing too over the top. I wanted it to still look semi-believable, like they were looking up at something. Mouth kind of agape. Before hitting it with a background here, started off with blue and with this kind of like seafoam green, kind of adding it in as a hazy type of background thing. Went around, did some smudging to kind of sharpen up some of these lines because I wanted it to blend nicely, but I didn't want it to dissolve, if that makes sense. Then from here, I went and I blurred everything. Again, I just didn't want everything to dissolve, so I kind of just real gentle with it, gave it a single pass, help soften up the edges just a touch without having it evolve too far back into the background. Then you'll end up seeing I spent a little too long on these filters menus, trying to make sure that I get everything looking all nice and how I'm envisioning in my head. Then from here, we're going to give it a cloth kind of finish and toss in our background, but I still wanted to do kind of a cutaway. So that's what I'm going with right now, is I'm erasing parts of that cloth to make it look kind of almost torn before, again, smudging it to sharpen up some of those edges. And after this, I ended up running through another cloth filter, which ended up darkening the entire image like a lot. So you'll see I went through with a burn tool and kind of just lightened up the entire, well, I think it was a dodge more than a burn, but I lightened up the image. Then I decided that those eyepieces were not good enough for me at the moment. So I'm giving them a rotation here, making sure everything's all lined up in a different kind of copacetic so that they can fit a little bit better behind the eye holes of the main piece. And then I wanted it to almost look like it was something that they were staring at. So we're just going to lighten up in a couple more circles here. And that's going to about do it for the piece itself. So folks, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to keep up to date on more of these, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, folks, thanks for watching. Bye.